This is the most wild survival anyone's ever seen. 17 contestants will spend 25 days on the island. They will encounter harsh living conditions to get more resources and even fight a lot. Here you can choose to complete the challenge alone. You can also work with others. In this extreme wilderness survival, I don't know how many days you'd last. The runners went to the island by boat. See who we know here. Missy was a contestant on the Survivor Challenge. 6 years of military training experience. The one with the beard is Zane the Hunter. Had a good run alone in the wilderness. Sarah, naked for survival, was invited. That's a guy who's done it 4 times. Also from Naked Challenge 'em all. Not so much, but strength is certainly assured. And Jay is the ultimate challenge player. In excellent physical condition. What about the wilderness survival experience? The hosts were expecting them. The contestants don't know what to expect, do they? They all look excited anyway. The next 25 days are spent on the island. The surface looks beautiful for a holiday, but there's a lot of danger lurking down there. It's a different challenge than any other. The contestants can take food from each other, even before a teammate. This is hard for some players to understand. I feel like the show crew is just forcing it. The island is rich in resources. In theory, that's enough to get you through 25 days. The person who has access to the resource has complete control over its use. If you want a challenge for resources, I'm going to the center of the island to find the drums. It's very unfriendly to the weaker players. Everyone gets a random item to start with. These can also be taken by others. A player who has failed in the competition. Resources or tools must be given up. If you don't have anything, you're out of the game. Before I came here, I thought I was going to starve. I didn't think I'd have to go hand to hand. I wonder if that's the case with men and women. Is this what members don't get to see? The host says it's a quick trip to the hospital. As long as there's 1 bite left, we can get it back. The last remaining players will split the prize money. If only one person completes the challenge at the end, that will get you an extra bonus. It got the players a little excited. Can't wait to get the people next door out of here. Now the challenge begins. The players were rushing to grab the equipment. A few are happy and a few are sad. Some people are already watching to see who to team up with. Everyone head to the shelter as soon as they get their gear. A more physical player like Jay. The opening advantage is pretty big. You can run to select resources first. There are 4 locations: food, water, firewood, shelter. What would you choose to start with? What's more important to Zane than water? Only when I take the necklace off. Of course, drainage lake, this is also a good choice. Early stage can ensure that the body is maintained in a healthy state. Don't worry about going into a challenge hungry. And the shelter tree house looks like it's on vacation. If I hadn't come here for the challenge, they really want to have a bonfire party. The mood was pretty good. Not many players choose firewood. Sarah's the only one who's here right now. I think this is the best choice. Don't waste your energy cutting down trees. She didn't realize the show was sending her a snake. There's a lot of candidates for shelter. It takes a lot of firewood to keep the fire going. Our best bet is to make a deal with Sarah. There's only an hour left until dark. Take the time to go over and ask for advice. Sarah wants to know what she can get. She doesn't like people coming in here for nothing, and the amount of firewood is limited. It's just not enough for everyone to use the end. We have to get people to stay here and team up. I'm not willing to give them all firewood. She's been communicating by command. This made Sarah very angry. They didn't take much firewood. It's just that Amar's aggressive attitude has offended a lot of people, even though no one said anything. But part of me wanted to send her home. Amar knows he has a problem, but he won't change it. Challenge the past if you can. Or don't go behind the crickets. She experienced firsthand the pain of fleeing war. When it comes to materials, you need to fight to get the situation. You have to be strong to survive. I don't want to be ruled by others anymore. This time she has to prove herself. The fire has been successfully lit. Thank God Chris chose the igniter. And share for everyone to use. That's how you light the fire so quickly. Jay found a snake up there. Those 8-pack abs are really strong. Just a few clicks and you're done. Snake meat on the first day. Everyone was in a pretty good mood. Don't look at the size of the snake. After removing the internal organs, it's not a lot for everyone, but there's been a real boost in morale. Right now, the team configuration here is pretty high. I'm not afraid of the other players. Now it's time to get rid of this snake. If you want to stay until the end, you need a team. Amar wants to get rid of more contestants. Otherwise, the bonus is too small. Although he said he wasn't worried about being eliminated. But it's nice to have a teammate to share the risk. It's just a matter of who else we can bring in. We got a lot of players here at Firewood. Most people don't want to team up with them all. I'm afraid she's going to stab me in the back. The best is to be able to form a team of 3. So, we can help each other. You'll get a little more bonus. But there's no rush to team up. It's only the first day. We can take a look. The challenge continued to day 2. They have a very low opinion of Amar. I don't think they're going to make it to the end. The best thing is to send them home early. That gives you access to a lot of resources and tools. But don't waste your energy on the challenge. It doesn't do you any good to win or lose. Matthew doesn't know what's going on. I woke up feeling very unwell. I don't know if it's the acclimation or the wrong food. Now I have no strength at all. The state is terrible. Daniel next door is also having health problems. I don't know why a sore throat and a fever. Is the challenge over before it has begun? Emotional, that is not a breakdown. The other players were quite worried about it. You know, Daniel was in the challenge. Stick to a vegetarian diet and complete the challenge. The willpower is terrible. I didn't expect a problem the next day. Nobody wants to take care of the sick around here. Trying to get the others home. I'm just a little worried that I'm going to get sick. Yoda and Steven are eating coconut meat and discussing how to catch fish. We have to find a way to get food. I'm also very unhappy with Amar. Wake up and give them something to do. Everyone is in a bad mood. The best thing is to find someone to form a new team. I don't want to listen to Amar anymore. Before the tide rises, take the time to catch some fish. Thank your teammates for their willingness to borrow tools. If you catch a big fish, you need more meat. Amal's gonna go talk to Sarah if you can't provide firewood. She's about to mount a challenge for resources. I didn't realize the next day someone wanted to do something. I don't think Sarah's weak. It's just that Amar thinks he's powerful. Challenge anyone and you win. After the show's physical examination of Matthew, suspected to have contracted a disease. We need to get to the hospital for treatment. Feel like you're not doing anything. I'm about to be forced out of the show. Sarah thought it was too bad. I used to work with him. Now the mood is very uncomfortable. Matthew didn't even share his feelings about elimination. He was sent away by the staff. Daniel's side was also dismissed because of fever. Man, it's the second day and nothing happened, okay. 2 people are already dropping out of the challenge. The other players didn't expect the challenge to be so brutal. The doctor sent him away when they felt he was in bad shape, worried that one day it might happen to me. Although it's a little sad that someone pulled out of the challenge. But the challenge must continue. Amar didn't expect Sarah to offer to bring firewood. It was amazing. She thought Sarah was here to show her weakness. Sarah suddenly mentioned yesterday Amal forced to take firewood. She was very angry about it. Amar doesn't feel robbed. She had a good conversation. Sarah doesn't want to talk to Amal. Well, she won't be delivering firewood anymore. This is going to piss Amal off. The words between the two were getting more and more heated. Sarah thinks she's already being friendly. But I hate him for asking directly. Amar didn't expect Sarah to feel that way. I don't have a cricket behind her. Wouldn't the resources be there to help each other? Amar says if he doesn't like a person, we'll say it to your face, never behind the cricket. Jay didn't realize someone was already catching fish. Sarah borrowed Yoda's mask. A harpoon with a mask for survival in the wild. It's like a fish with your hands. Missy saw fish thrown up. The mood is very mixed. She also wanted to eat fish in the water. If only everyone could have a bonfire party together, so the fish can eat themselves. Sarah, they've already started grilling fish. But there's no sense of sharing. Clearly trying to fight a war of attrition. I'll challenge her when I'm not strong enough. Missy thinks they've miscalculated. Although there are no proper tools to catch fish. But just put up a challenge and win. The tool belongs to them. You can catch as many fish as you want. Talk to Amal when you get back. Now we have to challenge to get the harpoon. Yoda eats a lot of fish in no time. They ate it quite happily. You can't expect others to share your food. You have to earn it. They have come to the place where the drums are played. Missy already has a challenge in mind. It's time to give everyone a good show. The other contestants didn't realize it was the next day. Someone will challenge you. Missy said it was the other players. Who's Sarah? They don't share food. Boy, does everyone have to share. All players begin to gather towards the drum. People still don't figure out what's going on. Missy said she wanted the harpoon. Of course, Corey isn't scared at all. For the game to be fair, male and female partners will be used for the challenge. Corey felt momentarily that he had been tricked. Nancy would have chosen Jay. The difficulty of winning that is greatly increased. Take time to discuss countermeasures. Soon to the challenge. Missy chose Jay as her partner. Look who's gonna mess with those abs. And Corey's partner is Chris. They don't understand why challenge so early. It's a huge waste of energy. Missy gets the harpoon if she wins. You lose, and you're out of the game. That's why no one usually chooses this in the early stages. This challenge is very simple. Everybody grab the totem. The first player to leave the ring will win. It looks like Jenna has a huge advantage. How does Corey hold up with his tiny body? Jay is as dominant as I thought he was. Chris was pulled directly under it. To compensate for the physical disadvantage, can only be immobilized with his feet. Where's the totem fight here? They kick people in the face with their feet. It was Missy who finally took the opportunity to reappear outside the ring. Chris was very angry with them. How do you attack someone with your legs in a normal competitive challenge? Although Missy won the harpoon. But very few people here are congratulating. Missy thinks this is what happens when you don't share your fish. If you are not welcome to play the drum challenge. Day 3 of the challenge. They were very upset with Missy's behavior. Well, if she's so good. Zayn plans to stop providing water. If you can challenge again. People don't share their food, and they miss their harpoon. What kind of bandit logic is that? He's right here waiting for them. He's not going to share any water anyway. If you keep Jay thirsty for a few days, then he will be forced to challenge. Though he says he's not as strong as he is. But Jay will be weakened in a few days. It's not clear who will win or lose. Jay just wanted to stop by for a sip of water. Zayn immediately spoke his mind. If you want to drink water, challenge yourself. Robbie said he meant the same thing. It's about Jay and his team. I can't do it without taking someone. Jay was mad as hell. Thought last night was going to scare the others. I didn't think it would provoke a lot of anger. This is what's going to happen. Jay, let's go back and figure out what to do. Only one challenge per day is allowed. Missy says she plays the drums every morning. She is confident of beating the other female players. Amar decided it was time to take the field himself. She launched a challenge to take the water away. I wonder what the next challenge will be. Let's wait and see. Who would have thought of the Wilderness Survival Challenge? You have to fight people hand to hand. The players are each more ferocious than the last. If you didn't, you'd think it was a fight. It's in a way 18. No discount on everything. I'm just gonna fuck up a guy's wrist. The swelling is quite exaggerated. So have times really changed? Now I want to come to the Wild Survival Challenge. It takes 2.5 years to learn how to fight. Would you dare to take part in the challenge? Day 3 of the challenge. Amar challenged the water supply. Zayn was pretty confident about it. Both sides need to find a partner to team up with. Zayn doesn't have a lot of female partners to choose from. The blisters on Sarah's hands aren't helping. Chris was willing to take on the challenge again. For her, this is revenge. Amal doesn't panic at all. After all, Jay is frighteningly strong. I don't think anyone can beat him. Now it's about getting a bigger advantage for the team. Soon it's time for the challenge. Look at Jay's abs. They're really good. They can't wait to start the challenge. Zayn didn't think he was going to lose. Jay had his challenge yesterday. Plus, they haven't had any water all day. I have a physical chance of winning. I wonder if Chris's arm's going to hold up. The challenge remains the same. The contest totem wins if it touches the outside of the ring. I just want the players to be careful about the physical contact. Don't want any accidents coming out. Without further ado, start the challenge immediately. Both sides immediately tugged at the totem. Chris did not fall to the ground, even though Zayn got the totem. But Jay and Amal were on top of him. Zayn just didn't get his act together. The host had to ask them to start over. This time Jay just grabbed Zayn's arm and pulled. The two were locked in a fight and couldn't break free. There's nothing Chris can do about Amal. Just watch her take the totem and win. The other players were pretty upset with Amar. She's not used to talking about the past right away. Now they have shelter and water. Wilderness survival really is half the battle. Other players are welcome to play the drum challenge. The challenge here is for the less powerful players. It's really very unfriendly. I feel like I'm being robbed. There was a strong wind and rain during the night. There's no way to light a fire on Jay's side. They could only embrace each other. It makes me feel a little better. I barely made it to day 4. Amar thinks he's kind of friendly. She does not intend to ban others from drinking water. Hope everyone can help each other to trade. Even though Amal seems kind of friendly right now. But what he said after the game last night turned Marshall off. Amar's actions make the challenge more difficult. It's so hard to beat them. Amar explained that last night was just for the women, and it's an existential challenge. She didn't feel obligated to take care of everyone's feelings. After 2 challenges, Chris, I feel like my wrist is hurting like hell. She had to make a deal with Amal. They need to replenish their water supply. The only thing she can use right now is a firearm. Amar thinks Chris was forced into the ring. The wrist can be totally fine. She can give Chris what he wants. Water can be changed as long as a firearm is provided. And promised not to challenge her. An agreement was successfully reached between the 2 parties. Robbie had a rough night last night. The shelter won't be able to hold out any wind. There's still a storm coming. We need to secure this place fast. The only problem is the palm trees are on the other side. It takes a lot of time and energy to complete. Sarah does like to make friends with people. I hope we can get along well together. But if Afton wants to move in, that's true. There's nothing you can do about it. There's not a lot of space. Plus, she's not contributing at all. So I had to kick people out of here. It made Afton feel terrible. Find a place to calm down. Yoda used to be a cook. I know it's famous for its fish and shrimp. If only I could get a bunch of food back. We just have to finish the shelter now. He doesn't want to stay wet in the storm. Now Missy's got a lot of tools. She hasn't given up on robbing others. Going to challenge a weaker player. She just had the axe the team needed. Just take this thing away. The other side will certainly have a harder time. Greatly improve their team's winning rate. And it keeps Jay from having to do it again. He needs a good rest. Jay doesn't have any wilderness survival experience, okay. But he has a strong body. Just make sure you get enough rest. I have the confidence to win all the time. It's freezing at night without a fire. We don't know how long we can keep this up. Day 5 of the challenge. Sarah didn't think they'd find a cave. This This is so much better than that tree house. Not worried about the storm at all. As long as we all work together, I'm sure I can pull off this challenge. The other players will be affected in some way. Only this side of the cave is clean. Jay's been having a hard time with this storm. It's hard to get a fire going. Missy doesn't know what's going on. There's a tree house to hide in, but no fire. It feels like this shelter is a pit. Might as well be more realistic with other resources. Worst of all, I might have broken the fire starter. She really didn't mean for it to happen. What should I do next? Chris is still working on the shelter. No one's getting much rest. It's been raining all the time. It's really upsetting. It's impossible to sleep. Now I really want to smash everything. Jonathan was very unhappy with Afton. Just sitting around drinking water instead of working. Might as well quit the challenge and go home. She even took the building materials to keep out the rain. It's been radiating negative thoughts. Chris himself can't stand her like this. Afton didn't think he had a problem. She has always worked hard for us. I just thought I wasn't feeling well. There's not much we can do to help. Anyway, Chris is really annoying, you know. I wish she'd get out of here soon enough. Yoda's still busy perfecting the shelter. The amount of material required is extraordinary. At least make sure it doesn't leak down. Everyone is fighting over the material. Yoda was very upset with Jenna. He thought he had a chance to teach Jay a lesson. When the others get a little weaker, I would have thrown a punch myself. Chris came by to get some water. I didn't realize Amar was trying to stop her. Turns out Missy was the one who wanted to break the deal, reluctant to provide too much water to others. After a little chat, I'll just let them drink here. This makes the relationship even worse. Watching others busy with their work. When they need a refill, you can trade for more. To make sure Jay gets enough time to rest, she'll play the drums and challenge the others. You can only ring once a day. Missy decided to sleep next door tonight. Ring at dawn for a challenge. This is really hard on myself. My teammates were very supportive. I don't have to wait in line. Day 6 of the challenge. Robbie intends to take on the challenge. Knock Jay down and get his stuff back. But I didn't realize Missy was waiting here all night. By the rules, she really was the first one to beat the drum. Robbie told Missy she didn't need to be so hard on herself. Most likely will leave the challenge early. Sarah's still trying to drive a wedge between them. Get Missy to join the team. Missy is shivering with cold now. Sarah went back for the quilt, but Missy doesn't like that. It's about being the first to ring the bell and challenge the others. Buy Jay a day off. It made Messina's mouth smell sweet, since we can't talk her out of the challenge. Then you can only watch the drum and not take the seat. Missy's strategy now is to gather tools. Give the team more advantages. Wait until the skies clear and start gathering. People don't seem to be in good spirits. I never thought Missy would fight for the axe. It happens to be the weakest Afton in the field. It makes people feel very bullied. Only Afton thinks he can't lose. She's going to make Missy regret choosing her opponent. It's going to be pretty intense anyway. Afton was so excited. Soon it's time for the challenge. The players began to enter the field to watch the battle. Same challenge as before. It's all about totem to the sidelines. Missy looked a little weak by then. Afton, on the other hand, carried the axe very well. She's easy to bully even though she's small. I exercise every day. She's ready to impress. Looks like the gap between the two sides is pretty wide. Does anyone think Missy's going to roll over here? Although we all know what happens when we win a challenge, right? But hosting is all about repetition, or you're going to get docked by the show. The players are tired of hearing about it. Just want to finish the challenge and go back to sleep. The two have grabbed the totem and are ready to begin. Missy was pulling people in at the start. We promised a close match. Afton was pulled by Missy the whole time. She had to hold on to the totem. Missy put pressure on Afton. I just didn't realize Afton was so tough. Missy just ran right into her. The host quickly separated the people, or Afton's going to get hit. Missy is very high right now. This collision can be a shock to everyone. The atmosphere was getting more and more tense. After a few adjustments, they immediately compete for the totem. Missy's going to be a little more aggressive this time. Afton is too small to carry. My arm was about to be crushed by Missy. There was no doubt that Missy had won the challenge. Afton thought she was too violent. I feel like I'm going to break my arm any longer. It was so hard. Where is this wilderness survival challenge? It's just bullying. Anyway, that's how brutal the game is, right? Missy got the tools again. She explained after the game that she didn't mean to hit her head, just trying to get Afton excited. The other players were very demoralized. That's exactly what Missy wanted. When everyone went back, they were busy making fires and resting. Yoda felt like she was eating all the time. The physical condition is quite good. He's not worried about Jay and their challenge to grab the tools. I've had enough of this kind of behavior. He's going to challenge Jay tomorrow. The challenge continues on the 7th day. Afton didn't expect to wake up with a pain in his hand. I don't know if it's a challenge, an injury, an infection. It's just swollen all over. I've never experienced anything like this before. I can't even bend my fingers right now. As much as she wants to hang on until the end of the challenge. But that doesn't look like it. The host came and asked what was going on. Afton felt he couldn't slow the team down, even though everyone thinks they're not doing anything. But she still thinks it helped a lot. To make sure the wrist doesn't get worse, had to quit the challenge and go to the hospital. And just like that, another contestant left the island. Just dropped off Afton and left. I didn't expect Yoda to come by and ask questions. He wants to know what's going on with Jay. Jay and Amal are standing guard at the water source. It doesn't look very good. Yoda wants to take over his sanctuary. They've always been the ones to challenge others. He is trying to eat food to fill the stomach. That's an absolute advantage in terms of weight. It's a direct clash of muscle and fat. Who do you think has a better chance of winning? Yoda had confidence in himself. Just win the shelter tonight. They won't have time to build shelter. Had to find a place to sleep in the wilderness. If the weather gets any worse, they may be about to be exterminated by the regiment. I have to say, Yoda's thinking is pretty impersonal. The show crew loves the way it looks. Robbie thought Yoda's heart was darker than her skin. Under the praise of all, Yoda that is bloated to the point. It's time to end their 3-game winning streak. Do you think Yoda's gonna win? Let's wait and see. No one expected such good fortune. You can walk on the beach and run into coconut crabs. This is bigger than my face. Gotta be careful with those pliers. It can easily open the coconut. Of course, you can break your fingers. How does this taste when cooked? Look at the little faces on these people. That's a good time to eat. It's not gonna taste any worse, is it? As they call it, it feels like a fleshy coconut. You don't need any seasoning. It smells like coconut all over it. It's perfect with this seafood soup. It's just that the rest of us have to eat coconuts. I'm afraid we're going to do something later. Day 6 of the challenge. Another player challenged him. This is going to make the show so happy. I like to clash with each other. The players are hoping to beat Jay and them. This time Yoda challenged Jai. If I can win the challenge, Jai's team will lose their shelter. Under such circumstances, they might even fall ill. Sarah saw how much weight Jay had lost. She thinks she has a good chance of ending their winning streak. Just win once. Morale will improve a lot on this side. The other side does not dare to challenge at will. Jay was very confident. He's looking forward to tonight's challenge. Yoda felt more powerful. It's time to send them to suffer. Jay's pretty excited right now. He didn't think he was going to lose. Missy was worried about losing the shelter. They will be in grave danger. So we can't lose the challenge tonight. The other players were encouraging Yoda. Show him how to grab the totem and pull it through. Although some fear of failure. But people still have faith in Yoda. Size alone should be half the battle. Steven is worried sick right now. It's okay if we win. If I lose, I'm in a pretty awkward position. There might even be an early exit. Zane has experienced the power of Jay. I hope Yoda can hold on and not get pulled away. With the encouragement of all, Yoda was full of confidence. It would be nice to get Jay home. Does anyone think there's a chance? Both sides are ready. I'm just waiting for a fight tonight. Jay was on a high. Nothing like someone who's been starving for days. It's not that easy to win. It will soon be time for the challenge. The players are looking forward to it. Yodana is quite confident. He said, Jay, that's dead muscle. It's just an exaggeration. I want them all sleeping on the beach tonight. Jay says he's not as strong as he was when he arrived. But you can handle Yoda. I wonder how he keeps those abs up so far. Both sides are in the mood, just waiting for the host to finish reading the AD. Can't wait to start the challenge now. Finally, when he finished reading, the challenge has been reconfirmed by both parties. Now you can put your helmet on and get started. From the start, the fighting was very difficult. Originally fell to the ground, but by being flexible, all of a sudden it's Yoda pinned down. It's hard for him to get power down there. Jay elbowed Yoda in the face. Originally thought both sides stood up. The war will continue. I didn't expect Jay to pull the totem away. I have to say, strength and flexibility. It's a big advantage in this challenge. Yoda's lips are dry and broken. He didn't realize Jay was so powerful. Jay says he eats coconut and water. I can still pick you over. Is there no one left to end the streak? Jay says he can't survive in the wild, but he was never afraid of Bijin. Yoda withdraws from the challenge amid encouragement from the crowd. Be in a terrible mood. Kind of overplayed his hand. I don't know who else can end Team Jay's winning streak. The challenge is getting harder and harder. Yoda thinks he's underestimating Jay, and now it's paying a terrible price. He wanted someone to win once. Don't want Jay and his family to get too comfortable. Yoda has nothing to say. It's good to go home early and rest. Jay's side won the day, but the situation is not very optimistic. If the other contestants continue to challenge Jay tomorrow, he's not going to be able to handle it. Amar can only show weakness for a while. I hope no one will play the drums tomorrow. She's willing to trade water with everyone, even though we don't really trust each other. But resources are needed. Lay off for a day. Will it really go so smoothly? The challenge continues on the 7th day. This cave in Zane, that's pretty awesome. Everyone's in good spirits. Not at all like Jay was shivering. Need food badly to fill your stomach. They've been here for 7 days. People are more tired than they think. I'm like a few more days if that's possible. Robbie doesn't know how he slept last night, does he? I wake up with a stiff neck. The spine is very uncomfortable right now. It's hard to challenge Jay in this state. If anyone else finds out, you might even be remembered. Sarah thinks people underestimate the power of firewood. An environment like this, a flame is more powerful than a shelter. Libby was a wreck. It was so cold that she didn't sleep at all last night. She was just there crying the whole time, desperate to finish the challenge and go home to rest. Zayn was walking by and saw it. As much as I'd like to say something comforting. But Libby doesn't listen to anything right now, does she? Just want to be done with the challenge and get back. Zayn wasn't trying to force her to stay. I just want everyone to hold on together. It's freezing out here, and Missy. Let's hope Sarah can trade the embers. If the fire starter hadn't been broken, everyone has access to fire. It's not easy for my own team, and they broke things to ruin the deal. But in the face of water, Sarah's heart beats. The condition is unlimited water, or we're all gonna die. After some confusion, Amal agreed. We'll grab more resources when we get the chance. And so, Sarah came with the spark. You can feel the warmth of the fire. They feel much better physically. Jay was hoping to catch some fish at Jonathan's. If we catch it, we can share it. But he already traded resources with Chris. Now we have to go back and ask. Chris didn't want to share. At least not until you're done exploring. She did not forget that she had lost twice to them. As long as it takes. We're gonna have another challenge. Jay was very angry with hunger. Can't wait to challenge now. Amar, they need food so badly. It's hard to get better on coconut alone. Libby was already in a bad mood. And with hunger that's really hard. No one thought of anyone else walking on the shore. You can spot a big crab. The size is quite large. This is bigger than my face. I'm finally gonna eat something different tonight. It should be handled with special care. A pinched finger is bound to break. We need to tie this down with a rope. This is the only way to ensure safety. You don't know what it tastes like. It can't be much worse, can it? Jonathan explored his surroundings. Hopefully, we'll find enough food to get out. He didn't notice anything the whole way. It feels like something's leaking. I don't know what it is. He wanted to know what was in it, you know? After looking for a long time, I finally found running water. That means not having to worry about water. I had a taste of it. It's better to boil it a little bit. And now, he doesn't even want to deal with Jay and them. I'm not going to disclose this resource anyway. Completing the challenge was no problem at all. We'll see if anyone challenges us. Jay is busy catching fish in the sea. Zane's really enjoying the crabs here. Everyone gets a bit of meat. It smells of coconut inside. There's nothing better on this island, you know. They also cooked a pot of seafood soup. It feels so good. It would have been better if Jay hadn't been here. No one wanted to talk to him. The mood was pretty bad. That's what the other contestants are trying to get through. Constantly open the physical gap between the two sides. This is not the way to go. Missy decided it was time for a challenge. Don't let them get too comfortable. The best thing to do is take the pot away, so they can't cook any more food. Missy had a brief discussion with her teammates. Decided to take the pot tonight. I just saw Robbie here. Missy's still trying to beat the drums. I can only talk to Robbie right now. Missy didn't want to reveal what she was up to, but Robbie could think of either the lake or the pot. They are short of food and need to be replenished. Missy also wants a personal alliance with Robbie. Robbie doesn't like the feeling of being stabbed. If Missy tells her who to challenge now, I can also try to cooperate a little bit. This is the stalemate between the two sides. Missy thought Robbie was too easy to understand. This is where he gets his message across. Not even a hint of cooperation. Playing strategy with yourself is a terrible way to lose. The conversation was not very good. Robbie says he's looking forward to tonight's challenge. Missy tapped the drum. It wasn't meant for anyone to find out. But Robbie's already told everyone. Sarah knew it was going to be a hit. The team was going really well. It's just Jay, and they're always up to something. It's only a matter of time before we run out of stuff. Sarah immediately told Jonathan the news. They were fine with the challenge. How come Robbie knows everything? Sarah wondered what he was doing all the time. It's possible he's trying to get a new ally. The main thing is Sarah said she didn't trade the spark. But I did today. It could shake Robbie's trust. Jonathan has always found it hard to trust people too much, no matter how close you are to your teammates. In the face of interest may also give you up. The players are all talking about what to do about it, okay? Sarah was worried that Robbie would betray the past. I'm willing to face it with Jonas. The rest of you think it's like a pot delivery. Jonathan didn't think there was a chance. But in the long run, they were each other out. The guy behind you has a better chance of winning. Things aren't going so well with Robbie. That neck feels like hell. There must be something wrong with the spine. It's impossible to sit down and rest. If it were any worse, it may even affect the movement of the limbs. If anyone were to challenge him at this point, There's nothing I can do to fight back. Can only call the show crew to check it out. Sarah had no idea Robbie was in such bad shape, although there may be trust issues. But losing Robbie, I'm gonna have a hard time finding reliable teammates. Robbie didn't want to quit the challenge so early. I don't want to leave this way. The show thinks he's in serious danger. If it doesn't get better in the next 2 days, I have no choice but to use coercive persuasion. Robbie kept himself to a minimum. I hope it helps with the neck. Now the host calls the contestants. Robbie didn't come because of his health. It depends if you want to challenge him. Missy didn't change her mind. Still got to get that pot in your hands. Jonathan had prepared himself. Let's not say it was Jay. Even Missy, he's a little too small to carry. Soon to the challenge. Few on the island could defeat them. It's an absolute advantage. Jonathan didn't think he could win. We're gonna lose anyway. Hopefully it will take a little bit of energy out of them. And so did everyone on the court. In this case, the host doesn't know how to encourage them. Just hope both sides can keep it safe. Don't make any dangerous moves that could lead to injury. I don't know what the show was thinking. It felt like Jay's team had the upper hand. I don't know when this reign will end. The good news is this game will be over soon. The bad news is the show decided to save it for another time. So you think they did miracles? I don't think it's likely anyway. Let's wait and see. High-end ingredients often require only the simplest cooking. Look at this coconut crab after it's steamed. You can feel the smell across the screen. The meat inside is as smooth as cream. Bite down, it is full of happiness. Even the juice on your hands. I'm curious about the one they caught. You have to pay a lot of money to taste it. The battle between Jonathan and Missy has finally begun. Jay and Missy have the upper hand from the start. Sarah and Jonathan just had to hold on. They say an angry rabbit bites. Sarah had to fight Jay with her teeth. Not that much though, but Sarah didn't give up. Right on Jay's back. The fall hurts to look at. Jonathan is on top of Missy, trying to get on top. Too bad Jay pulled it apart. Finally, Missy took the opportunity to break out of the field. Sarah and Jonathan were written off at first, but seeing their desire to win, even his opponents admire him. Too bad someone's going to take the pot away. Jay and Missy were hungry all those days. Still have the strength to challenge. Now, they're focusing on psychological warfare. Don't let the other side get too comfortable. We'll take them one by one. Jonathan wasn't worried about losing the pot because he has wilderness survival skills. Be able to cook food well and eat it. This is where Jay and his team have the advantage. I'm not sure I'll last 25 days. Now it's just a matter of who has the strength of will. Day 9 of the challenge. Jay's quality of life has improved since he got the pot. I feel good drinking rainwater now. There is no stable food for them. I'm a little worried that I won't be able to handle it before I get it. Although said not afraid to participate in the challenge. But fighting it all the time isn't the answer. It's going to take a little more strategic planning. Keep going when you're better. Their goal is to knock out everyone on the other side. Then divide the prize money up nicely. Jonathan and Sarah last night. It gave the players a boost in morale. Since others are so small, they are willing to work hard. Zane decided it was time for him to step up. I lost the last challenge to Jay, but mostly because Chris couldn't do it. If it's a single fight, I don't have to lose to Jay. He's not as strong as he was when he arrived. If only he could fail once. It's a great morale booster for everyone. He didn't want to see Jay and his boys picking on the weak anymore. It's time to take a chance and end a streak. After yesterday's challenge, Sarah felt like she was aching all over. Chris wanted her to get some rest. Jonathan has great admiration for Sarah. In a way, I didn't lose. They have done a very good job. Not deterred by the strength of Jay and Missy. It was a very valuable experience in my own life. If I could do it again, he's going to go all the way. Jay, they're enjoying the warmth and getting their strength back. Last night's challenge was a bit of an energy drain. But overall, there are no physical problems. If you underestimate their challenge, I'm happy to walk people home. That's the right way to open this program. Wilderness survival is just a side event. By far the strongest is Zane. If we could just send him away. Jay's confident he'll take out the rest of them. Let them know they're not built for nothing. Missy agrees with Jay. None of the women can fight. They work together like a crush. If I could just grab some food right now, I have more confidence that I can rule. I'm happy to think about it. Zim was going to get some water. I didn't expect to be stopped. It takes a fire trade to get the drink. Even though they were angry. But in order to rehydrate, can only admit, we have to find a way to change that. Amar was thinking about banning people from coming, but we can't keep the spark stable. It's better to trade for the time being. It's not so easy to get water later on. Zane rehydrated and came over to Jonathan. Jonathan doesn't trust people very much though, but it's nice to hear Zane brag about himself. He didn't think Jay would keep winning. I have wondered whether to share the stream. After last night's challenge, Jonathan finally decided to share the resource. I hope everyone will refuse to go to Jenna. So Jonathan took Zane to the creek. There are a lot of obstacles on the road. It's not easy to get across. It took them a while to get used to it. Jonathan leads us to the creek. Corey immediately tasted it. It is indeed a valuable source of fresh water. We have to boil it somehow. Fetching water back and forth takes a lot of time and effort. The best thing is to work as a team. That's how you keep your body in a healthy state. The other thing is to keep it a secret for now. When someone really wants to cut off the water supply, I can make sure I have water to drink. The mood was quite good, even if the tools are taken away. There are ways they can continue to survive. Now, we're talking about when we go to war. The clarion call for a counteroffensive must be sounded. Sarah thought if she could get Amar out of the game, the relationship will ease. But others don't think so, even if they do knock someone out. Fighters like Jay and Missy, or continue to challenge them to take the tools. The truth is, Jay and his crew don't have the skills to survive in the wild. It's all about Amal being there to lead. So, just take out the leader. Let us make it to the end of the day. So, even all the tools and things. You can survive by working as a team. Like this, everyone feels okay again. There's no point in fighting them. Sarah was talking to Missy while Amar was away. They're not working as a team right now. They just use each other. Sarah wished she could win her over. So everyone can work together as a friendly team again. The idea is good, but it's too ideal. Sarah thinks she can get as many tools as she can. It's hard to function without teamwork. You're just wasting your energy. Missy doesn't think so. You don't get tired of having too many tools. Not to mention, she's on a team with Jay. I have the strength to crush the other pairs. Sarah tried to keep talking to Missy. We're here for a wilderness survival challenge. It's not a challenge to grab someone else's tools. She thinks Amal's the one behind this. I'm using Missy for a physical challenge. When she can use tools, you lose. You have less competition. I wonder if Missy is listening. Sarah said everything she needed to say anyway. Hopefully, it'll make Missy want out a little bit. I'm not surprised Sarah's here. After all, I'm the strongest female player, and she's willing to show some kindness. It'll make it easier to work together later. Sarah saw that Missy was willing to borrow the axe. The mood is so good. It's a temporary partnership. Jonathan thinks Sarah's a little scheming, always there to lead against the other side. I went there to talk and collaborate. Chris thinks Sarah's a bit of a duplicity. It feels like she's going to betray you sooner or later. If you want to gain their trust, you have to draw the line on the other side. Otherwise, it's not good for anyone. Sarah didn't realize she was raising suspicion. She thinks it's all for the team. Zane thinks a coconut tree can go a long way. There's a lot of coconut on it. Even if you eat it, you can eat it. In fact, one coconut tree is enough to last 25 days. I just feel a little weak. Too bad Zane doesn't like coconuts. He prefers the hunting days. It's really torture in here. It's not just the difficulties of the wild weather. There are others to challenge. Not the wilderness survival I wanted. Sarah just wanted to talk to Missy. She's confident she can win it over. Then the team will become stronger. The tools will be back in our hands. Zane thinks that's a little too rosy. I wouldn't trust Missy anyway. If you want the tools back, you're on your own. Sarah still wants Ramasai on the team. Zane was very upset about that. Jay hasn't had a full meal in 9 days. Plus, during the challenge confrontation, the body is getting weaker and weaker. Need some food to fill up. Just trying to collect crabs for food. It doesn't feel like there's much food. The mood is getting lower and lower. He felt a sudden urge to quit the challenge. Wilderness survival isn't really my strong suit. Might as well go home while you're still feeling good. I'm afraid I'll faint on the floor. Jay's looking really bad. You're just gonna quit and go home. Day 10 of the challenge. Jonathan and the boys want to get some water. Amar says each person can only drink water once. She's cutting off everyone's water supply. It makes it impossible for others to maintain a good state. The thing that pisses Sarah off the most. It was traded to the Spark this morning. Propose new rules now. That's why she wanted Amal out so badly. This is to completely arouse the conflict between everyone. Anyway, Amar thinks he's right. That's what a challenge should look like. Jonathan knew they'd do this. That's why I never trusted it. It is even more unlikely that cooperation will be possible in the future. It has nothing to do with the challenge. Such a capricious person. I don't know how it's going in real life. Although Jonathan has a water source, but it takes a lot of energy to go back and forth. It's going to be a tough 25 days for the team. Chris thought Sarah was just stupid. You think you can influence people. Jay's team is a little giddy from hunger. I'm not going to go get some food. I don't think my body's going to make it. I'm going to take my tools and head to the beach to find food. Even a little crab. I was craving some meat to relieve my hunger. Corey's making cups out of bamboo. We're going to make more, and we're going to get more water. Although the physical condition is slipping. But that doesn't mean you give up. Jay's got a bunch of crabs hanging around. These are good to eat off of. Too bad they're moving so fast. Zane was very angry with Amar for what he did. I didn't think anyone would go back on their word like that. We can't keep running away like this. I didn't discuss it with anyone else. It's time for a challenge anyway. He doesn't care what resources are available to him. Okay. It's all about taking Jay down. Does everyone think Zayn has a chance this time? If you fail the challenge, you're on your way out. Missy thinks he's there to challenge Jay. After all, he doesn't have anything to eat, right? I'm sure I'll lose if I keep going like this. People think Zayn is too impulsive. Initiate a challenge and you lose, you're out. Tools don't matter to them. Zayn was just trying to teach them a lesson. The others didn't think much of it. Everybody really wants to beat Jay. Zayn thinks he has the edge. He's not going to lose like he did last time. What no one expected was, Jay just got a coconut crab. The size is quite large, enough to feed everyone. Missy felt that this was crucial. People will be more confident in the face of challenges. Hurry up and get rid of this crab. When cooked, it gives off a strong coconut aroma. Jay was starving. Just grab it with your hands and eat it. There's so much meat in there. It feels like my body is coming back to life. You can win a challenge without eating enough before. Besides, they're full now. Robbie's back after a neck injury. Sarah was so happy. Robbie's just not in the best of shape. It's going to take a lot of tweaking. Too much anxiety can make the neck worse. Before you know it, it's time to gather. It's getting closer to the end of the challenge. Zayn wants to fight Jay so aggressively. Jenna, who ate coconut crab, was not afraid. Finally got a chance to get Zayn home. Sarah, they still think Jay's losing his energy. Zayn can take care of people with ease. When Jay got back, he wasted no time filling his stomach. He thought Zayn had a lot of bad luck. Yesterday, I would have feared losing. I can't imagine losing right now. Soon it's time for the challenge. Zayn is not the aggressive type. I just don't see what the other team is doing. I hope it teaches them a lesson. Jay thinks if he can beat Zayn, the rest of you, that's no threat at all. Both sides are already familiar with the challenges. This is supposed to be the most intense challenge of all. The hosts just hope they don't get hurt. Jay can't wait for the challenge. Both men put on their helmets and come to the center of the ring. At first, the two sides were pulling hard. Zayn was about to take advantage. Jay trips people with his legs. Zayn lost his edge in an instant. I couldn't put up a fight. The two sides have moved to the edge of the ring. Too bad Jay had to take him out of the ring. Jay was so excited. It really is that no one can conquer themselves. Although Zayn thinks it's a shame, but I still agree with Jay's strength. Jay doesn't know anyone else who can beat him. He knew the team was going to dominate. Zayn thought he was trying hard enough. Nothing to be sorry about. He accepted the challenge of bowing out this way. The players are not in a good mood. It feels like this challenge is over. After leaving the ring, everyone began to say goodbye to Zayn. Zayn wants everyone to hold on. Wilderness survival is combined with competitive confrontation. Physically strong people have a definite advantage. Wilderness survival skills feel less important. Zayn's leaving was sad enough. I didn't realize Robbie was dropping out of the challenge. His neck hurts like hell. To continue is to risk one's life. There is no way but to opt out of the challenge. With Zayn and Robbie out of the challenge, does anyone think Sarah's going to last another 25 days? Let's wait and see. If I ever get stuck on an island, well, congratulations on the snake bundle you're about to get. This is an amazing size. Dispose of it directly after cleaning. You can cook it straight on the fire. One bite, it's 100% chicken. Walking on the beach. Remember to look up. Maybe you'll get a coconut crab. I'm not sure you can find it in the market. This is where the crab meat is free. What is it about being stranded on an island? You're just here on vacation. The challenge continues on day 11. Nathaniel was thinking about trading for water. Who would have thought Amar because of last night's challenge? I'm worried Jay's body's going to give up. That's why we're cutting off everyone's water. No one would have the strength to challenge it. So mad that Nathaniel just wanted to punch her. If that's how Amal plays, don't even think about trading again. Nathaniel told the news to the others. Chris says he has a water source. Amar was never expected to trade. I'm glad Jonathan's on the team. Otherwise, we would still be worrying about water. No one wants them to be the only one to complete the challenge. Now we're waiting for a challenge from the other side. Just lost tools. I can totally accept it. It's up to them to challenge it. Amar wants the rest of us to challenge. McCarney did not accept the suggestion. Just wait for them to challenge you. I'm not stupid enough to risk failure. Amar paid lip service to her opinion. But one says it's for the team. That makes sense to Libby though. But I also want to do what I want. In fact, I have long wanted to go home. Maybe a challenge before we go would be nice. Chris has a gnat bug on his hand. I should have brought a long sleeve. Jonathan thinks there's a trust issue. Originally, we thought we could get along, but they keep going back on their word. Plus Jay and Missy's dominance in the ring. This has led to a very passive situation. Jonathan didn't like the arrangement. Survival in the wild is all about cooperation. Let's just call it a challenge now. We can't continue to be deprived like this. I'd rather go home than fight. Looks like we'll have another challenge soon. Nathaniel is so hungry right now. Needs some food to fill up. Sarah didn't expect their side to lose so badly. Jay and Missy don't really have any skills, do they? Just strength and damage attacks to win. Nathaniel can't guarantee he'll win, but it's going to hurt them a little bit. Sarah's wondering if Jay found any food. Nathaniel decided not to think about it so much. Do you know what you can eat here besides coconut? All they do is grab seafood and eat coconuts. Where does it look like you're out in the wild? The idea was to trade food. And if they don't want it, then nobody's going to be okay. And talk Sarah out of the deal. There was no trust in them at all. The challenge continues on day 12. Libby and McCartney are talking about a challenge. It's not for the good of the team, okay. It's just that Libby wants to go home. Hope to participate in a challenge experience. If you lose, go home. If you win, prove yourself. Whatever happens, she can live with it, right? So who do you think she's going to challenge? McCartney urged Libby to calm down. They can wait until they can't stand the challenge. Or trade privately to get more. Amal and Jay went to the beach to look for food. If only I could get my hands on another coconut crab and explore what's around. You can't get too far inside without passing someone else's camp. Sarah was very unhappy about that. Tell them to get out of this place. No one here would welcome Jay and Amal before Amar cut off the water supply. I always thought this would happen. I just want to win the challenge. What's wrong with that? They think this place is perfect for snakes. A careful search might get us something to eat. Libby came over to talk to Missy. Not that anyone will challenge it now, but I wanted to experience it. Missy was very upset with McCartney, not wanting to contribute to the team. Not everyone is here for the challenge. Most of us live in the wild. If this continues, Missy thinks she can be eliminated. Libby thought she'd go for the challenge first. Missy didn't think much of her. I want to think about it. Libby was adamant. Just want to feel the confrontation tonight. McCartney found Nathaniel here. She didn't like what the team was doing. Nathaniel knew they loved to rob. There's no sign of wilderness survival. I'm sure it ends up trying to kick everyone out. That extra bonus is all to oneself. McCartney wasn't convinced yet, but after a little explanation from Nathaniel, that seems to be a real development. Nathaniel had already seen through their tactics. Unity in the early period and fighting in the later period. Do you think this is really going to happen? Nathaniel thinks people need to take action. The opposite side has begun to restrict the use of resources, only to do more terrible things. The best thing to do now is to stock up on food. Not only does it give your body energy, it also reduces the other person's access to food. Jonathan, they came to unexplored territory, hoping to hunt for something to eat. Just because Jay keeps winning doesn't mean it sucks. I was lucky to find a snake there today. Just stick it in and it'll work. He's a pretty good build. It's just that we don't seem to have much left. So far the hunt has gone well. Corey didn't expect to find something different on the shore. When you see a broken branch, you know there's food on it. Sure enough, there's a coconut crab just up there. How to catch it is a big problem. Nobody wants to get their fingers pinched. Corey figured since he found out. Then he has to try it. Take a look in the tree with Jonathan first. It's even higher than I thought. Soon we reach the location of the coconut crab. Jonathan tried to pull it off. Coconut crabs can only hold sticks when they lose branches. Stephen didn't expect it to go so well. The whole person was so excited. Now we're going to tie the pliers with a rope. It's been a great day. Everyone can have a good meal. And Amal is washing his hair looking at the ocean. The sand in there is really itchy. I wish I had my hair cut short. The cleaning process was quite comfortable. We just need to change the water a few more times. Just in time for Nathaniel to see them waste water like this. I was very angry. He couldn't stand Amal's behavior. Try to provoke them and annoy them. It's going to take a lot more energy out of Jay's team. Fighting is also part of his strategy, to expose Amal's hypocrisy and stir things up a little bit. I believe the team must have a different voice. Amal felt really confused. Both Jay and Missy decided to take on the challenge on their own. She never tried to force it. McCartney kind of wanted out anyway, even more so when Nathaniel says so. Hoping to have a good chat with Chris. I didn't expect to see Corey and them back. Snake meat with coconut crab is so good. McCartney feels embarrassed right now. Just get out of here and go back. Cook the food directly over the fire. The taste is amazing. There's nothing better than meat, you know. I feel like I'm alive. McCartney will bring back the food news to everyone. Missy was so jealous. The body's not going to make it through this. Amal didn't expect the other side to be so tough. I know I have so many resources, but it still doesn't contain the opposite side. I want to force them to challenge and go home. That strategy doesn't look so good now. The challenge continues on day 13. As soon as Libby wakes up, she challenges him. She didn't consult the team. I just want to experience it. Jay's side is all for fighting. She feels very happy now. Finally, I can do what I want to do. Stephen is still busy diving for food. Spearfishing itself is quite familiar. She can get food through here. I have thought that I will be targeted by the opposite. I just didn't expect Libby to come and tell me. I don't like to take things by challenge. This is wilderness survival, not an arena. Still, Libby wanted to mount a challenge. It's just so Stephen's going diving and fishing. I think I have a chance of winning the challenge. I mean, Libby was just so high. Everyone thinks she's got the momentum to win. Take time to rest and get your body back in top shape. Steven is going up against Libby tonight. I was so scared. She doesn't feel she has an advantage. There's a good chance we'll lose the harpoon. They're very upset with Jay's side. That spear doesn't even work. Just trying to deprive people of their equipment. You really don't have any sense of the world. If the camera wasn't there, he would have been there to destroy it. Funny thing is they were on the same show. It just so happens that Libby knocked Steven out. I hope history isn't repeating itself. Win or lose, Steven will stay here. Just don't get hurt. Soon the host will call someone to assemble. Libby's challenge to Steven was well known. Make a brief statement and go back and get ready. Soon it was time for a challenge. It's different than usual. The challenge has changed. Libby was ready. She's going to beat Steven again, even though I was eliminated from the show. But she's making progress. This challenge will take on a new form. We need 2 men outside the ring. When the host says it's on, run for the totem. The first one to leave with the totem wins. Both sides are already wearing helmets. The fight began as soon as the game began. Libby's a little bigger though, but there's no advantage against Steven. Soon the two became entangled. A worried Libby pressed her knee directly onto someone's wrist. The host saw that something was wrong and immediately separated the two sides. Steven couldn't move his hand. The doctor came in and found a sprained finger. The pain made her squeal. When the host asked Steven if he could continue, Missy was there heckling. Steven tried hard to carry on. People were furious about Missy's behavior. Chris couldn't wait to go down there with Missy right now. The quarrel between the two sides was getting more and more heated. The host had to stop. I can't believe Missy wants to throw down the gauntlet now. If the host hadn't stopped, I'm sure Chris is up to the challenge. Let's finish this race now. Both sides enter the field again. This time Steven clearly had to push harder. Still not as strong as Libby. Steven held on to the totem. Libby tried to pull it. I didn't expect to trip to the ground. Still, Steven couldn't take it. Finally, Libby won the challenge. If it wasn't for a broken wrist, Steven might actually have a chance. Libby was so happy, even though Steven lost his harpoon. But the opposite side won't be used either. So let's just pretend we don't have any tools. Just what about the wrist? After the challenge, there was no fire on Jay's side. Taking the harpoon is just a morale boost. Nothing has changed for the shelter. Jonathan, on the other hand, seemed calm. He knew Chris wanted to challenge him. Jonathan was very unhappy with Missy's heckling. We're all here for the wilderness survival. Now they're turning it into a challenge. He also thought about what to do next. The challenge continued on day 14. Jonathan told Chris what he thought. He plans to give up the challenge and go home today. I took part in the wilderness survival challenge. I'm not here to fight. Chris didn't think he'd choose to leave. It's a little hard to take in. When Jonathan can get away with nothing. I can make it through 25 days. Blame Missy and their bad behavior. Leave while you're still happy here. He didn't want to go back and remember Missy and their bullying. Chris knows this is a tough place to be. We need a chance to kill Missy. The host also came here to ask. Jonathan thought about it for a long time. He decided it was time to quit the challenge and go home. Some might say they're running away. But I really have worked hard. If you were Jonathan, and how long will it last? And so, Jonathan opted out of the challenge. It's really a sad decision. Jonathan didn't have much to say about Missy, did he? Although the show is trying to create some conflict. But I don't like it. Might as well go home early and rest. Finally, he gave the clothes to Chris. I hope we can get together for dinner after the challenge. Watch Jonathan pull out of the challenge. Chris was devastated. Do you know what will happen next? Let's wait and see. How hard it is to survive in the wild. So hungry, he had to dig out termite nests to feed himself. And don't mention that termites taste like mint. It's so refreshing when you put it in your mouth. With a little luck, you'll find a banana. This bunch of bananas can make people cry. I thought it was an exaggeration until I saw him cry after eating the banana. I just realized it's not how good it is. It's their lives that are too hard. Take this bite. I feel like I'm alive. The mood is so good. I don't want to share it with anyone. Wonder how many more days they can keep this up. The challenge continued on day 14. Jonathan couldn't stand Missy opting out of the challenge. The rest of the players are in a pretty low mood. Chris, in particular, suffered for a long time. Today, that means you don't want to do anything. Sarah invited her over to live with her. The team is having a pretty bad time right now. It's going to be a tough 25 days to keep this up. Missy didn't think she was wrong. Is it too powerful to challenge others? It was the opposite side who refused to cooperate first. They will choose to challenge to seize the tools. You talk like you're the victim. Missy needed the prize money badly. Change your life for the better. Amal and the others kept arguing in front of the camera. Maybe this will make you feel a little better. don't think the team did anything wrong. Amar was worried that Missy would think anything. That's a big no-no in wilderness survival. Nathaniel finds Chris to talk to. Previous water discoveries were not promising. That's all I've been waiting for. The situation is getting worse and worse. Missy's side is eager for a face-to-face challenge. She also knows the gap between the two sides is wide. I don't think anyone's going to play the drums. There is no way but to attack from our own side, trying to provoke the opponent into an attack. Libby doesn't want so many people splitting the prize money. I wonder who's going to break it first. There's a termite nest on Corey's side. There's precious protein in there. Just a couple of pokes with a stick. Then you can use your hands to attract the termites to eat. I feel like I'm eating mints. It would be nice to relieve a craving a little. Missy here thinking about what to grab can make the opposite side more uncomfortable. Water is the biggest problem right now. If I could just get the kettle, the opposite side certainly won't last that long. After they discuss immediately to challenge. It's been a long time since Jay put up a fight. Now the mentality that is quite good. Even if you lose and go home, it's okay. It's time for the opposite to feel the pressure. Nathan didn't expect Jay to challenge him. Jay here clearly does not want to let the opposite boil water to drink. Force them to challenge and send them home. Nathaniel is very clear on this side. I haven't played yet. He's not going to give up the challenge. Nathaniel just has to make sure he doesn't get hurt. It doesn't really matter if you have the tools. McCartney's here to borrow a scuba mask from Sarah. There was a time when she would have borrowed it. But now I'm sorry. Sarah won't offer any more favors or deals. And so it went on. I thought it was more important to work together to survive in the wild. The challenges are only part of it. It's actually very interesting. Sarah's not an athlete. It's not a very physical game. Why should we ask them to challenge us? Let's just say the show wasn't scheduled, and now it's a one-sided situation. Sarah's going to finish the challenge on her own terms anyway. It won't change for anything else. It's better if we all work together, if that's possible. Sarah talked to the group about sharing tools. Chris was very angry when he heard that. There is absolutely no need to trade. She really wants Sarah off the team, always thinking about working with people. Have you forgotten what they did before? Chris doesn't care about anything right now, okay. It will soon be time for the players to gather. Everybody knew Jay was going to throw down the gauntlet. Nathaniel thought it was so funny. There are always people who want to deprive others of their lives. They don't run away from it. He needs to prove he's not a coward. Both sides are getting more and more excited. The host quickly interrupted and told them to go back to prepare. Nathaniel studied martial arts and wrestling. Jay might win, but it won't be easy. Soon it's time for the challenge. Jay thinks he's scary strong. There is absolutely no chance of losing. And Nathaniel is passionate too. Even if you lose, make the other side feel the pressure. It's getting closer to the end of the challenge. I wonder if anyone can end Jay's streak. Both sides have known the situation for a long time. Now put on your helmet and prepare to fight. Even if Nathaniel ran fast enough to get the totem, but he was quickly captured by Jay. The rivalry between the two sides is getting fiercer. Jay tried to hold Nathaniel down, but he kept spinning around on the ground. Angry Jay grabbed Nathaniel with his hands. Win the challenge with sheer force. Jay couldn't be happier right now, even though I know I'm going to lose. But Nathaniel still feels oppressed. Just want to get it over with and get back to cleaning the sand. The challenge continues on the 15th day. Jay's got a lot of resources, just waiting for the opposite to challenge them and send them home. The team has not fared well since losing the kettle. Since we can't win in the ring, you have to go the extra mile to survive in the wild. And Nathaniel didn't give up, even if all the tools are taken away. I will continue to insist on the end of the day. Jay said he won a lot of challenges, but surviving in the wild is really tough. It's the first time I've ever been hungry. Corey was just trying to get some leaves. I didn't expect to find a bunch of bananas. It's fully cooked and safe to eat. Take this food home immediately. They are fully capable of holding out until the end of the 25th day. Everyone is in a good mood. Missy and the boys are trying to grab the bag. I just don't know whose it is. It's just going to keep going anyway, you know. Straight face can't stand the exit challenge. Missy thinks she's a genius. They keep winning, no matter who they meet. It's time to bang the drum and challenge. Corey's still busy collecting bananas. Sarah thinks that's the beauty of a wilderness survival partnership. It's not like trying to grab something every day like the other side. Funny thing is, I got back just in time to see Missy. I did see something in Sarah's hand. But Missy just wants to beat the drum faster. She thinks there's a good chance that Nathaniel owns the bag. And even if it wasn't, it would put pressure on the other side. Missy doesn't know what Sarah took. It's got to be something to do with food. Why would Nathaniel challenge him when he was already upset? But it felt so good to see the banana. I didn't expect it to taste this good. It almost made Nathaniel cry. It's hard enough to survive in the wild. I had to face the challenge of being robbed of my tools. Next time we face this challenge. You said you wouldn't come here for anything. Corey didn't think anyone could force them away. Keep going even if you lose all your tools. Missy didn't think she was being a bully. It's just a challenge by the show's rules. There's absolutely no need to say that about yourself. She wants to talk to him. I ran into Steven on the way. The two sides had a brief chat here. Missy was hoping to get some food. Steph didn't forget her mocking face during the challenge. Missy came here to share her thoughts. I was really just too involved. She wasn't trying to hurt anyone. Chris thought it was a shame Missy wasn't going to be an actress. Missy's going to grab that bag tonight. If they lose this bag, they'll have a harder time. And she wanted to know what kind of food Sarah had found. Oh boy, that's what I'm here for. Sarah was the only one who wanted to be friendly. Chris interrupted Sarah immediately. She doesn't want her intel exposed. I hate Sarah more than I hate Missy. The host starts calling people to assemble. Missy hopes to win the bag. I didn't think Chris would be the owner. It's not what I thought it would be, but I felt that I was capable of winning the challenge. Do you think Chris can send Missy away? Both sides were acting very excited. Soon comes challenge time. Missy knew that Chris was angry with her. It wasn't an easy challenge tonight. Chris doesn't give up. She's going to teach Missy a lesson. 10 days until the end of the challenge. Both sides have taken part in challenges here. I believe you already know the rules. The host wants to be safe. Both parties have their helmets on, and the challenge is ready to begin. It starts by pulling on each other. It's just that Chris wasn't in a good position. Missy quickly put him down. Use it to your advantage and take Chris out quickly. I just didn't realize Missy was so violent. He just broke Chris' wrist. Call the doctor right away. The slightest touch makes you squeal in pain. You don't have to examine it to know it's a fracture. There's no way to continue the challenge. Missy didn't expect this. She was trying to take someone home. But it's not about carrying people away with injuries. It was very guilty inside. Mostly because they had a fight before. I guess everyone thinks Missy did it on purpose. The mood was pretty bad. Chris had to be taken to the hospital. Does everyone think Missy, these are crocodile tears? She really didn't expect anything like this to happen. Although he is competitive, but never intentionally hurt people. The scene that was getting very heavy. Chris had an accident like this. The hosts think it's a draw. There was no way she could continue the challenge. Except for Missy's teammates. And Sarah was there to comfort her. Others were very sad and angry. The bag will now be handed over to Corey. There are only 9 men left on the field. The challenge is about to get more intense. I hope everyone will try to hold on until the end of the challenge. Although Missy is sad to say that Chris fell. But the challenge must continue. She's not going to give up because of that. Mentally, I was starting to break down, but there will be more pressure on the other side. Tomorrow I'm going to challenge and win Corey's bag. Day 16 of the challenge. After Chris got hurt in the challenge last night, Corey thought about it for a long time. He knew someone would challenge him today, whatever the other side wants. Anyway, I must hold on to the end. Missy's on her way to play the drums. She wasn't holding it against Corey, just trying to keep the game going. You can't run away from a challenge and choose a wilderness survival partnership. Corey's going to fight today anyway. Soon the host called for people to gather. Corey had a long time to think. How was he prepared to face it? The host told everyone that Chris broke his bone last night. The situation is more optimistic. I'll be out of here in half a month. Now it's time to see who challenges. Missy stepped up, and she's going to challenge Corey today. Everyone thought Corey would be under a lot of pressure. I didn't expect him to call it quits. If you like bags so much, you can have them. I'm not going to get beat up in the arena. Why don't you take whatever you want from now on? They're not going to be involved anymore. I was able to make it to the end of the challenge, since Corey's team chose not to fight. So what happens next? Let's wait and see. While others are struggling for food, the man had already laid a trap, just waiting for this pig to walk right through your door. After a simple treatment, the leg of the pig has already been pulled. The people who saw it were so excited. There is no need to add any seasoning. 100% natural wild boar leg meat. It's tempting enough just to be roasted. Eating that is quite happy. I don't know if they can survive 25 days on this pig. The challenge continues on the 17th day. Jay didn't expect the other side to give up the fight. Would you rather have no tools at all? They don't take the initiative to challenge. This causes them to feel no excitement at all. If you continue like this, you will not survive first. They're not here to survive in the wild. When Corey lost his boiling tool, the most important thing every day is to collect coconuts for hydration. None of them gave up, though, through their own wilderness survival techniques. See if we can change the situation. Take everything Chris left behind. It takes a lot of energy, though, but it's better than giving up and going home. Jay's in a pretty low mood here. Libby felt a little overwhelmed. I kind of wanted to go home. A victory in the ring is a little better. Now he's back in the wild for survival. I had a pretty bad time. She's tired of being here. I don't want to stay any longer. Although we only have a few days until the end of the challenge. But it doesn't have to be this way. Amar knows it's hard. Can only persuade her to think carefully before making a decision. If you can still hope to hold on a little bit. Nathaniel finally got his stuff back. So tired that he was panting. For now, as long as we can find coconuts every day, it is not difficult to persist until the challenge is over. Stephen finds survival in the wild a different challenge. First of all, there is really little food. Starvation has become the norm. The opposite is to get more money. And this side just wants to spend 25 days together. It's totally different in mentality. Everything's fine as long as the show doesn't mess up. If you end up on an island, there simply wouldn't be that many tools. They are perfectly capable of surviving. The opposite side will collapse in a few days. Jay told McCartney that Libby was coming home. She really wasn't expecting this. Jay thought we were going to make it to the end. Things are about to get a lot worse. Everybody come over here and talk to Libby. Cherish their last time here. Libby thinks she's done a great job of making it this far. McCartney didn't know what to say, did she? I just hope she doesn't regret her decision. When Libby left, she had to change herself. Soon the host came over to check on the situation. Libby has decided to quit the challenge. I can't stand hunger and physical discomfort. You're only torturing yourself if you keep doing this. She's going back to her life. The host still feels sorry for this. There's so much advantage on the team side. A little more persistence will complete the challenge. Libby knew it was a difficult decision, but I can't stand it. Let's get her home for a good meal. Libby still envied the opposite team. Even if you don't have any tools, they can still hold on. Willpower is a lot stronger than you are. Libby's departure made the team even more depressed. Missy's already in little tears. She really didn't want to see her teammates leave. Look at Libby's happy face. They didn't know whether to be happy or sad for her. Ever since Corey chose not to fight, he felt like he was finally living in the wild again. Explore unexplored areas of the island. Find whatever resources you can. You can see a lot more on this side. Actually, Corey had set the trap before. You don't think you're going to catch anything, do you? But it's better than doing nothing, right? Soon he brought Nathaniel to the trap. Corey grew up catching wild pigs. I didn't think I could catch it here. Now it's up to Corey to perform. Catching speed, that's pretty fast. We have to clean it up now. I have a lot of experience. Anyone else wouldn't be able to peel it off. Tell Nathaniel to get the meat back to the cave and cook it. Sarah wasn't expecting meat. That's pretty impressive. If the show hadn't given her a script, I really thought it was just a show effect. Stephen didn't know what to say, did he? The guys are great. Let's get the fire going and cook this meat. And Nathaniel has to go back and help with the wild boar. The little days are getting better and better. We'll celebrate with the whole boar that night. even though they didn't put any seasoning on it. But everyone ate it quite happily. This is what wilderness survival looks like. My mouth is full of grease, and I feel very happy. If Jay and his guys see this, I'm afraid we're about to challenge and snatch it. As long as the meat is preserved properly, then eating meat every day for the rest of your life is not a dream. McCartney didn't expect to run into crabs while she slept here. The first thing you think is there's food. I just don't feel comfortable resting here. There's always something coming for a bite. Immediately run back to the cabin to rest. Corey's boar's head hasn't been disposed of yet. Nathaniel's going to scare them with this, so you can steal water to drink. The plan is quite bold. It's going to be awkward if you're going up against me, but they don't think McCartney's that bold. It would be even better if we took down the totem, even though it would be challenged to get it back the next day. But one day is enough time to stock up on water. Too bad McCartney wasn't there. You'd still see her panicking. Sarah, they approached the water source carefully. I was so good in there. Who would have thought there would be no one here? If I knew this was going to happen, I should have gotten here sooner. Nathaniel was in the best of moods. This is their lucky day. Missy wanted to get some water before dawn. I didn't expect to see Nathaniel there. Missy can only go back to the cabin now. Amal didn't expect the other side to steal water in the middle of the night. I'd really like to ask McCartney if she voted. How come you never left the water before? Just got back to the cabin last night, just in time for Nathaniel to run over and steal it. It's too much of a coincidence. It can't have been scripted by the show. Now everyone suspects something's wrong with McCartney. There's a good chance we've already made a deal. Once the team has a seed of suspicion, to trust is to be particularly vulnerable. McCartney thinks she got it wrong. Who would have thought it would be such a coincidence? In fact, even if it really happened, Missy, they all think McCartney doesn't fit in here. The main McCartney was reluctant to challenge. It's better to go across than to sit here. McCartney didn't think it would go this far. What no one expected was, the host will sound the drums himself. What, is he coming for the challenge too? Everyone thought it was Jay's side, and so a group of people came to the meeting point. Turns out it was the show that didn't challenge Sarah. I'm worried it's not going to work, so change the rules now. Now the winner gets everything the loser gets, and will be eliminated. This is no doubt to Jay's delight. Obviously, the show just can't afford it. It's no fun worrying about too many people splitting the prize. Corey's in a pretty bad mood. It's all a game of confrontation. What else is there to survive in the wild? Jay couldn't wait to challenge him now. It was clear they weren't going to make it to the last day. I guess Jay's the only one who gets the prize money. Nathaniel thinks it's going to be a rivalry game. Why do you need to survive in the wild? Although the gap between the two sides is quite large. But Sarah thinks people have wild boar meat. There may still be a chance to win the challenge. This has boosted morale significantly. Just a matter of winning the next one. Amar thought it was the right thing to do. Now we can knock out both of them. Everyone picked their opponent. You don't know when we send them away. We'll continue to challenge each other. Jay immediately went over and challenged. He had to send Nathaniel home first. He even came up and challenged her. Nathaniel thinks there's a wild boar supplement. I have no reason to lose to Jay. It's not going to be that easy tonight. Soon the host called over. Jay was just going to get Nathaniel home. His face was full of confidence. The show crew thought it would work out the way it was supposed to. People will fight each other. Make the show more beautiful. The presenters keep adding to the fighting atmosphere. But Nathaniel said he wouldn't play tonight. The show loves a challenge. Get the host on the stage. The host was quite speechless about it. How can I talk you out of it? Well, Nathaniel's not involved anyway. Sarah didn't understand that at all. We talked about one-on-one tonight. Nathaniel says goodbye to his teammates. The decision was extremely demoralizing. The heart that wanted to fight and try cooled down. It took a long time for Nathaniel to give up. There was nothing wrong with surviving in the wild, you know? But the show crew is doing this. They can't accept it. He doesn't want to go home with a broken body. The weather was getting very bad that night. Corey had a major medical problem. It was awful all night. It's hard on Jay too. Shiver in the rain. Everyone had to huddle together to keep each other warm. It's worse for them than going hungry. I barely made it to dawn. Sarah felt it was time for her to step up. Take the lead in challenges to boost team morale. The opposite side may not expect someone to play the drum. I just want to win the next game. Not many people have a choice. I guess McCartney's the only one who's a little easier to bully. Sarah doesn't look so strong, does she? This is going to be a pecking challenge. But you still have to be confident. Corey thinks we still have a chance. They're better in the arena. When it comes to survival, you can only fight hard. It's just that Corey and Steven were sick last night. The body is particularly weak, especially Corey, to get rid of the boar. It takes too much energy. There's no amount of meat you can eat here. The rest of the resources are left to Sarah. I hope she can make it to the end. After last night's terrible storm, McCartney's body is so weak. I'd like to call a doctor right now. Amar was very disappointed with her performance. I'd love to send someone home right now. McCartney instantly thought she could hold on. The host came over to Corey. He didn't expect two more to drop out of the challenge. This is not the way the show wanted it to go. It's a challenge every day, just in time to decide the final winner. It's a total disruption to the schedule. Now Sarah is the only one facing the challenge. Is there really no way to persuade you? Sarah thinks she'll be fine. Even if it's just me, she's going to make it to the end. Soon the crew will arrange for a boat to arrive. There's nothing for them. No matter how persistent cannot defeat the opposite. After dropping off Corey and Steven, Sarah had to hurry to fill her stomach. Tonight she's going to win the challenge and keep going, even if there's only a little chance. Soon the host called for a gathering. Jay, they didn't think Sarah was the only one left. Doesn't that mean a civil war soon? Sarah's going to challenge McCartney tonight. Jay thought it was awesome. I really wanted to get McCartney home. Sarah felt good about taking the initiative. In order to eliminate McCartney, they even offered Jay to mentor Sarah. This operation can make Sarah confused. Why would anyone want to send a teammate away? McCartney can only focus on dealing with it now. Although Jay is really here to guide. But Sarah is curious what happened to them. Too bad Jay won't let on. Just have to wait until the show AIRS. Don't look at Sarah's skinny. She's pretty sure of her own strength. After Jay's technical guidance, I feel more problem-free. Soon to the challenge. Sarah feels empowered now. She came here with the hopes of all. There is absolutely no reason to fail. Although McCartney was betrayed by her teammates. But she still wants to win the challenge and make it to the end. The host thinks everyone is already familiar with the rules. Take the time to challenge. Both players put on their helmets and enter the ring. The two soon became entangled. It was a close challenge. It's not a one-sided situation. That's the shot the show wanted. I didn't think Sarah would be the one to attack. McCartney couldn't resist it at all. McCartney couldn't stop it in the end. Sarah finally won a round. Too bad my teammates have gone home. McCartney did the best she could. Let's hope Sarah makes it to the end. I don't like Jay at all. Although everyone hugged when McCartney left. But only for the camera. She knew the rest of her team wasn't good, right? After we drop off McCartney, Missy wants everyone to help each other. I thought Sarah would refuse to help. After all, they can't survive in the wild. Chances are your body just can't stand a breakdown. But Sarah just loves helping people. Invite everyone to the cave and have a good rest. I mean, a lot of people would probably say no. Do you think Sarah did the right thing? If you go on vacation on an island, you have to go into the ocean. Not only can you see all kinds of beautiful scenery, you can also harvest food smoothly. Look at this conch. It's pretty good. The hard shell is filled with white flesh. Make sure you clean out the insides. It's definitely tastier than what you get at the market. I heard that snail meat is better boiled with coconut. Coconut meat is also delicious when roasted. If anyone wants to come along and experience it, Day 20 of the challenge. There are only 4 left on the court. Because of Sarah's help. Jay, they finally got a good night's sleep. I feel very relaxed now. Can't wait to challenge now. In fact, if Sarah doesn't bring him back, they have no fire. I'm going to be shivering at night. I can't even stand to be eliminated. Too bad Sarah doesn't like suffering and naively wanted to split the prize money. That made Jay and his friends laugh. Sarah also offered to share her food. Such a good man. That's going to take a few days. She's not here for the arena. I hope we can get along well with each other. Now we need to get more food for the team. Survival in the wild isn't all about fighting and killing. There has to be some sense of the world. Now she plans to sleep in the sea. It would be nice to get something to eat. One of the easier things to find is the conch. There's plenty of meat to eat when these are cleaned up. She believed her kindness would touch them. But Jay, they're thinking about when they're going to do it, okay. It's a little bit like biting the hand that feeds you. But it's still a challenge. Amal hasn't forgotten his problems with Sarah. It's time to put up with this for so long. She's not here to make friends. Sarah's still sharing. Where can I get food? I hope you can spend 25 days together. They will share food and eat together. I'm sure I'll have a good life. Jay, they don't want to feel bad about themselves. It's better to beat the drum early and challenge. There's no need to hang around. Everything on this island will be ours by then. Missy was very sympathetic to the idea. So get Sarah over here right away. Sarah had no idea that her kindness would be taken advantage of in this way. They're still trying to knock her out. Now Sarah feels like a clown. She overestimates her own personality. Jay, they eat and sleep well. Just waiting to take Sarah home tonight, despite Sarah's good intentions. But Amal thought he had to send her away. Everyone's working for the prize, not just to survive in the wild. Sarah was very upset about it. It's a breach of trust. I'm gonna go home tonight. That's how we all come together and challenge. The atmosphere along the way was quite heavy. In fact, at first she wanted to be friendly. Sarah was the one who started the conflict. So everything has to be challenged. Sarah knew she didn't stand a chance. But they don't give up on the challenge. At least make an effort. Jay and they were laughing and talking at the cave. Sarah was in a very bad mood. Now that they're leaving, they're not going to feel better. Just put out the fire with water. Well, finally doing something that makes people happy. Amar didn't expect Sarah to put out the fire. Let's just say the next few days are tough. The host calls everyone in. That's what Amal is trying to do with Sarah. Then the three of them split the prize money. Sarah thinks it's a pack of wolves. Show kindness no matter what you do. They're just trying to get people out of here. This is not wilderness survival at all. Now she wants to tear the cave apart. The host could sense Sarah's anger. I hope we have a good game tonight. Missy doesn't think Sarah should have put out the fire. Man, you're about to be eliminated. And leave something so others can have a good life. Sarah doesn't think she's that kind yet. Save any conflict for the ring. This is a no-brainer rivalry. Amal can't wait to get Sarah home. There's no chance of losing. Sarah will be okay with it. Try to cause a little trouble. After the host read the AD as usual. Let both sides be ready. This could be the last challenge. Hope you can pay attention to safety. Don't get too excited and break someone else's bones. From the start of this game, Amal has the edge. Sarah couldn't have put up a fight. Just like that, he was sent home. Now the mood is very bad. I didn't want to fight in the first place. How is this a wilderness survival challenge? I will never be on this show again. With Sarah out, I don't think anyone's going to challenge her anymore. Now you can go say goodbye to Sarah. And so everyone watched Sarah leave. If it's better than surviving in the wild, I'm sure I've lasted longer than anyone. Too bad it's a rivalry game. There's only 3 guys left on the court. They think they can enjoy life now. You don't have to worry about anyone challenging you. Today we can look for food in the sea. How about seeing the place Sarah recommended? Jay found the neighborhood really nice. No more eating coconuts every day. After some searching, the conch was found. The rest of the day will be very comfortable. There's no need for Sarah to forage for food. They can get it on their own, as long as there are no physical problems. 25 days is definitely enough. Jay's actually been thinking about splitting the prize money. Amal wants to own it too. If I could get a bonus, your life will be better improved. It's all or nothing. I just don't know how to challenge the remaining man and woman. Amar doesn't feel very friendly to women. Jay felt like he had to deal with it. Try to get home early. 2 people, after a discussion, decided to give Amar the challenge tomorrow. It's just too much for her. Both sides think this is what a challenge should look like. Whether Missy accepts it or not, it's just a fight to the last man. No one can resist the lure of a bonus. It's all about winning. The loser has nothing. It was a very fair challenge. It's just that Missy doesn't know anything. I hope she can understand the support. Missy didn't expect the team to think that way. I really want to leave the 3 together. It's not a comfortable feeling of betrayal. And now he wants his own opinion. What else can Missy say? They've all made an alliance to knock her out. It was very awkward for everyone to stay in the cave. Missy thought the challenge was over. I didn't expect it to start again in less than a day. She thought she might as well have just one winner from the start. The challenge went on to day 22. Jay didn't sleep well last night, although the teamwork was impressive before. But bonuses can be life-enhancing. He felt he had to stand up for the challenge. Send the hardest Amal home first. Mainly, Jay's curious. How do we do the challenge now? The host was very happy with their actions. That's the shot the show wanted. Missy was in a very bad mood. If you lose, you get nothing. We can all go home happy. There's only one person who can win now. The host was curious why they picked Amal first. The challenge between Jay and Amal. The host was looking forward to it. Soon it was time for a challenge. Jay felt that was pretty exciting. I'll be able to win the prize money soon. Amar didn't think he was going to lose. To see what the show does, okay. Challenge fairness for men and women. The show will invite the previous contestants. You can choose your partner from here. I wonder if they came by with money. Amal's a no-brainer for Zayn. He's the only one who can stand up to Jay. There really isn't much to choose from on the women's side, is there? It's too thin. I'm glad I got Missy out of the game. You know, if Missy were more confident with herself. Wait for the challenge, not hard. That's a good way to get Jay out of the game. Just one-on-one with Amal tomorrow. The challenge was particularly intense from the start. Clearly, Missy wasn't thinking about that level. She did a pretty good job helping Jay, although it is raining heavily at the venue. But it does not affect their confrontation. Zayn's trying to get Jay out. Keep pushing against the body position. This causes the totem fight to turn into Missy and Amar. In the end, Missy was better. I got them all out of the game. I have to say, Missy doesn't really have a strategy. I had a chance to knock Jay out of the game, but it helped keep him alive. Can't we end up going head-to-head with them all? We don't even have to wait for the challenge to end. You can congratulate Jay in advance for winning the challenge. There's only 2 left on the court. You don't know when they're going to challenge you. When the challenge comes to the 24th day, Missy was still trying to talk Jay out of the challenge. Isn't half the bonus enough? If we lose, then there's nothing. Is it really necessary to fight for this? Jay thought it was necessary. He has great confidence in himself. Missy regretted helping him yesterday. Maybe it would be better to keep Amar. Both will enjoy their last day on the island. Missy is up for the challenge, although it doesn't matter who plays the drums. But she wants to ring first. Since we can't avoid a fight, then enjoy the last challenge. Let's see who keeps winning. They can't wait to do it now. I don't want to wait till night to start. Let's see what is the undefeated king. The host also gave them a pep talk. Soon for the final battle of the ring. The players are the same as yesterday. The 2 sides have already worked out a strategy. We'll find out who wins the extra money tonight. Missy was upset about Jay and Amal's betrayal. We're going to make them regret it tonight. Missy, it just gets worse and worse. After venting, you still have to face challenges. The only choice Missy has is Zayn, though he didn't like Missy's ways. But still try to help her win Jay. Jay, it's obvious that Amal is the only choice. I don't know if she's willing to help. What's the host got to say? Let both sides take the time to prepare. A brief exchange of tactics while wearing a helmet. Soon they are ready to enter the ring. It's going to be a hell of a fight. The winner takes all. It was confrontational from the start. Zayn was trying to give Missy an advantage. That's a straight fight with Jay. Still, Jay managed to force his way back. Now it's Missy versus Amal. Just when everyone thought Missy was going to win. I can't believe Jay broke free and grabbed the totem. Now my mood is quite excited. Bonuses can make life better. It's not been an easy journey. There were times when I wanted to quit the challenge. In the end, I stuck with it, no matter what anyone says. I know how to challenge myself, right? He's already looking forward to a better life back home. Missy was in a pretty low mood. I shouldn't have helped Jay if I knew this was going to happen. He sent himself away with his own hands. Still naive? If I can come back for another challenge, she'll definitely join the wilderness survival side. It's really hard to feel betrayed. There's plenty of money for everyone. All Jay's thinking about right now is what to do with that prize money. The next thing you have to do is stay up till dawn. I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight. There won't be any surprises, will there? So it came to the 25th day. Jay's mental state is as good as it gets. If it wasn't for the host's interview, he would have sailed back by now. I haven't lost since I got here. It's a challenge I've set myself. Listen to the host's commercial breaks. I can finally go home. I deserve this bonus, even though it's only 25 days. But it's a very important experience in life. If there's another chance to get the money, I hope the show finds itself. It's going to make for some great shots. I don't know who else will challenge me. Let's wait and see.